Hi, welcome back to Virtually Sunday. My name is Tony Pickler, Mission Outreach Director for Resurrection Parish in Green Bay. I've been thinking a lot about thin places lately. I've been writing about it, talking about it, thinking about it. Thin places, it's that Celtic spirituality notion that the distance between the holy, between God and between us, most times is not that far off. And in certain times, certain circumstances, certain places, that space gets even thinner. And we call that a thin place or a thin space. I was thinking, most times we think about thin places or thin spaces in terms of beauty and goodness and love and the things of God. But I wonder about the other side of the equation. I wonder about thin places when it comes to division and darkness and evil. And this past week I've been thinking about that too, and I've been thinking about the thin places of evil. I've thought a lot about and seen a lot of coverage of the continual Russian invasion of the Ukraine, the pain, the agony that has been inflicted upon the people of the Ukraine. That's a thin place of darkness and division and evil. I think about the division in our own country over the whole issue of abortion and what looks like the inevitable overturning of Roe versus Wade. Even in many of our churches this past weekend were bracing themselves for unrest and protests and potential violence. That too seems like a thin place of division and darkness and evil. When I turn on the TV and I see all the ads for the gubernatorial races or the Senate races, I see a lot of division there, a lot of darkness, a lot of people tearing people down instead of building people up. That seems like a thin place of darkness. And then I think about some of my own relationships in my own life and how some divisions are evident there. Again, in my personal relationships, my personal friendships, sometimes that's a thin place of darkness and division. Evil, division, in darkness, in thin places. But that's not how we're created. We know from the very beginning of the Bible, the book of Genesis, where God creates everything, including us as humans, and calls everything that God creates good, very, very good. Which turns us to our Sunday readings for this coming weekend. And this Sunday's reading challenges us to see the goodness in our world, the goodness in thin places, instead of evil, instead of division, and instead of darkness. In the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, we continue to make our way through that book. Paul and Barnabas are making their way from community to community, sharing the good news. But they stop to remind the new believers that there will be times of challenge. There's going to be times of hardship. At times, the thin spaces may be filled with darkness rather than God's love. So even though they were having great success in sharing the good news, going from city to city, town to town, country to country, they were also aware that sometimes a thin place could be a dark place. But they continue on spreading the gospel in the face of these hardships, and the success is apparent. The numbers of believers, they're being added to the community day by day, community by community. And in Revelation, John talks about seeing a vision of a new heaven and a new earth in that second reading. The old order, the old way of being, of seeing things, it's now gone. John points out that in this new reality, there will be no more tears, no more death, no more mourning, no wailing, no gnashing of teeth, no pain. Instead, the belief is that God is in our lives. God's always present, will always be present in our lives, particularly in the thin places. This forms the new order. And in one word, if one word could sum that up, it would be the Easter reality of hope. And then finally in the gospel, it's made clear that this new world order, this new heaven, this new earth, it's not going to be marked by darkness, division, and evil. No, Jesus makes it really clear in this gospel from John that love is going to be the hallmark of how Christians will be known by the rest of the world. Love. See how they love one another. It's this love that will draw others to the community. Darkness, evil, division, they're not very attractive. So who wants to hang around that? But love, people can get on board the love train, and they have throughout the centuries. So how about our present world in this 21st century we live in? Will people be attracted by our love, or will they be repelled by our darkness, our division, and our evil? It's really up to us. On many Friday nights in the fall, you can find me on the sidelines at the West Pier football games, holding a down marker as part of the chain gang. And after each victory, the same song is played as I stroll the 2 blocks back to our house. It's Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. Is Louis' vision of the world one of darkness, division, and evil? Or is it pointing us towards a thin place marked by love? You be the judge. Here are the lyrics. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark scattered night, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow so pretty in the sky are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Let's celebrate the thin places of beauty, goodness, and love as we move into this week and this weekend. God bless you and have a great, great day.